Henry for CouchFighter.co, and in this installment I'm going to break down and predict the upcoming fight of Brock Lesnar versus Alistair Overeem, and I'm going to break down the two fighters, then I'm going to do my prediction. Now, just the background of this fight. This fight is for the top heavyweight contender in the UFC. This person is going to face, the winner of this fight will face Junior Dos Santos, who recently beat Cain Velasquez at UFC on Fox in impressive fashion, first round TKO. And needless to say, just very quickly, Cain Velasquez will land on his feet. He'll do just fine. And whoever it is that wins this fight, Brock Lesnar, Alistair Overeem, they're going to have their hands full with Junior Dos Santos. He is tough to get on his back, and he has some of the best striking in the heavyweight division, even if he is fighting Alistair Overeem, a feared K1 fighter and kickboxer. So that's just the backstory with all that. And just a couple other things in regards to going into this fight. With all the drama, with there's a couple of backstories with this one. One, Brock Lesnar is coming off of injury. He's coming off of a loss against Cain Velasquez in the first round, a TKO loss. Then diverticulitis came back, and he had to not fight Dos Santos for top contender after he did tough. And he's coming off of injury, so ring rust could be a question. That's an issue for Brock Lesnar. And with Alistair Overeem, it's not so much. He's had I don't want to say a long layover since he fought Fabricio Verdum, but there's a lot of that drama going around with the whole Golden Glory, the break from Golden Glory. And like I always say, is that fighting is just as much mental as it is physical. So whether that's on his mind or not, whether changing his camps or breaking from Golden Glory will affect him or not, it's a big question going into this. So ring rust for Lesnar. More a mental thing for Alistair Overeem. It'll be interesting to see what happens with these two, how they go in mentally to this fight, because this is one of the biggest fights for both of them. Brock's never faced a striker like Overeem, and Overeem he's fought a lot of competition, but he has never faced a wrestler like Brock Lesnar. So going into it, Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar is one of the best wrestlers in the heavyweight division. He's a former champion. My takes on Brock Lesnar, I am not the biggest fan of Brock Lesnar. Is he a great wrestler? Yes, he is. He is not a striker. The guy has still got a long, long way to go. My whole take on Brock Lesnar in regards to his hands is that I'd like to see Lesnar lose 15 or 20 pounds and fight at like 240, 245, and maybe get some more hand speed, because he lacks hand speed. And he is a freak. Like, the guy's freakishly athletic. He moves so well in guard and on the ground. But one could only imagine how much better his hands would be if he lost weight a little bit. I know that's not all what boxing and Muay Thai is, but it would only improve his hand speed, and that's what Cain had over him in their first fight. But Lesnar is a pure wrestler. The guy's a collegiate wrestler. He's an exceptional wrestler. That's how most of his fights, he could lay on you. He's a lot to deal with. It's 265 to make weight. One could only imagine what weight Brock Lesnar actually fights at on fight day. And it's only a day after, 275, 280. It's definitely possible. The guy looks like he's 300 pounds. He's an absolute Goliath. He is a monster. So Brock Lesnar could hold people down. He shoots for takedowns, and he's great at it, and he's very quick. The one thing, he can't really set it up with striking. He really just comes right at you. He overwhelms you. He could put you against the cage, or he could do what he did to Frank Mir. He could literally lay on top of you and beat you down to TKO. So Lesnar's advantage is his wrestling, and his size allows him to submit fighters as well. Look what he did to Shane Carwin. It's not just that Shane Carwin was gassed out, the beating he put on Lesnar in the first round, but Brock Lesnar can submit you. He is training in jiu-jitsu. He's a great wrestler. He could put some serious moves on you. It'll be interesting to see what he can do to Overeem, who's just as strong as him, but doesn't have the technique that Lesnar has. So it'll be very interesting to see what Lesnar can do. He's a great wrestler. He's a great athlete. You could say that Lesnar has a good chin, especially after the Carwin fight. The guy took a beating for a round from a feared striker in Shane Carwin. But then again, he took a beating from Cain Velasquez. So maybe Lesnar has a pretty good chin, but the one thing about Brock Lesnar, and I got questioned about this the other day, is that, well, nobody likes to get hit. Yeah, nobody likes to get hit, but people can take a hit. Brock Lesnar cannot take a hit. He does not like to get hit. Okay, some guys could stand in there. The Nick Diaz's, who could come out in the second round against BJ Penn and use his head to block punches. Brock Lesnar does not do that. He does not like to get hit. He is scared to get hit. He is afraid to get hit. He is not a striker. He does not like to get hit. When that happens, he shoots and tries to close the distance. So that's a big storyline going into this fight, is that Overeem is a striker. Overeem can also grapple, but Lesnar doesn't like getting hit. Against the Velasquez fight, once he took a couple of hits, I mean, the fight was practically over. It really was. Lesnar was absolutely outmatched on his feet. Where he is successful is on the ground. Very few people could keep up with Brock Lesnar on the ground. So, this will be, interesting to see how Overeem will deal with Lesnar. So Lesnar doesn't like to get hit. His striking, he's still evolving. He's got a very long way to go. His hand speed is not there. He does have power, though. Brock Lesnar has serious power in his hands. If he does connect with you, it is night time. But he has to connect with you. He is not, I'd say he's evolving very, very slowly. Evolving is a good word. He is evolving very slowly as a striker. So Brock Lesnar, great wrestler, evolving as a striker. He can submit you on the ground, and his ground and pound is devastating. He can control you on the ground. And his cardio, we really haven't had to see it too much. A lot of his fights have ended early. Not every single one, but it's interesting to see. With his injury and with everything, be interesting in what his cardio is. Most heavyweights' cardio isn't great. Not everybody is a Cain Velasquez who can go the 5 rounds, if that happens. But most heavyweight fights do not go to the judges. This one will not go to the judges. That's my take. This one will not go to the judges. But, if this goes to the 3rd round, it'll be interesting to see where Lesnar's cardio lies, especially with a striker like Overeem. So that's what I have for Brock Lesnar. He is a former champion. He's looking to get back into it. If he does win, he'll fight Dos Santos. He'll have his hands full again with another superior striker. Alistair Overeem. Alistair Overeem is not only the Strikeforce heavyweight champion, he's the Dream heavyweight champion. He's a K1 heavyweight champion. The guy is a great striker. He is a great kickboxer. His kicks are absolutely devastating, especially with the size of the guy. His strikes, his punching is great. He's learned a lot over the years, and his knees are great out of the clinch. Just adding on top of that, Brock Lesnar's got a great clinch too. But Alistair Overeem's clinch is great for a kickboxer. His hands are great. He's got good hand speed. He has very good range as well. He knows how to use his strikes. But one problem with Overeem, he is a great striker. I'm not doubting that. But one thing with Overeem is he doesn't let his hands go in some fights. He doesn't. In the last fight against Verdum, he is very worried about the sprawl. It's imprinted in his head. And obviously, Verdum's a great grappler. He does not want to go to the ground. But you got to let the hands go. You got to let people try and work to get inside your punches. And this is just an observation. Overeem is a great striker, but he's got to let his hands go more. He's going to have to against Brock Lesnar. For a guy who doesn't like to get hit, if you connect with Lesnar, you got to jump all over it, and you got to take advantage of it. That's what you have to do. You have to let the hands fly against Lesnar. Do not let Lesnar get comfortable. Do not let him get you on your back. So he is a feared striker. His resume proves it. He can knock you out. He has serious power in his hands. He has good hand speed. He's a feared striker. And then he can use it in every single way. Elbows, punches, kicks, knees, it doesn't matter. He could use it in every single way. And he is very good at closing the distance. That's Alistair Overeem's striking. His ground game is actually very underrated. He is does submission wrestling. He has won by submission. The thing about Overeem, though, is his takedown defense is great. It really is. What he did against Verdum was great. It's not so much his defense or his sprawl. Like, it is good. It's his strength. Alistair Overeem's strength is obscene. Just like Brock Lesnar, Alistair Overeem has done, he's done the training with, what's it called, Strongest Man. Not like he's competing in Strongest Man, but he does that type of training, the bodybuilding type training. He is a freak. The guy is very strong. Now, I'm not getting into the whole issue about him doing steroids or any of that stuff in the past, but Alistair Overeem's a freak. He's a strong guy. So it'll be a good question to see if his strength can match Brock Lesnar's wrestling technique, and he could keep this fight standing. And Overeem's more than capable of submitting fighters. He's done it in the past. If he's successful against Brock Lesnar, he'll be on his feet, letting his hands go. Now, a couple things. Overeem's a great striker. He has great takedown defense. He's good in the clinch. He has a pretty good ground game. A couple negatives of him. I said that he does not let his hands go. And here's the one thing. Overeem has been knocked out 6 times. When Overeem was a light heavyweight fighting in Pride, he does not have the best of chins. He's been knocked out before. And fighters have been knocked out before. Lesnar's been TKO'd before. But Overeem does not have the best of chins. Okay, and I know I will get flack for this, but Overeem doesn't have the best of chins. Okay, that's a fact. He does not have that good of a chin. If Lesnar does connect, it's night-night Overeem as well. Okay, not the best of chins. It's been proven before in his pride fights. It's not bashing the guy, okay? It's not hard to take. I mean, it is very hard to take a hit in the heavyweight division. It's hard to take a hit in most divisions that are this weight. Okay, so he doesn't let his hands go. He's not, I mean, his disadvantage in this fight will be the lacking a true wrestling game like Brock Lesnar's, and he does not have the best of chins. So those are the two fighters, Overeem and Lesnar. They're both gargantuans. They're Goliaths. They are warriors, these two. Okay, whether I'm a fan of them or not, I still want to see. I mean, I'm not buying the hype 100% yet on Overeem. Yes, he does have he has great hype coming into this from Strikeforce and all these past fights and Pride and all that stuff at K1. But I want to see what he can do against Brock Lesnar. We're going to see where Overeem stands in the UFC with what he does against Brock Lesnar. So, the fight breakdown. Here's how I see it. If Brock Lesnar is successful, it is if he gets this fight to the ground. If he can wear out Overeem and try and force a submission and force his will on him and his size. And, you know, it's not easy because Overeem's a big guy too. But if he could get Overeem down to the ground and he could try and lock in a submission or put some ground and pound in, he'll be successful there, whether it's by TKO on the ground. I personally think Lesnar could lock in a submission in this fight, and it will be very interesting to see. But that's only if he's on top of Overeem. Okay? That's if Lesnar is successful. If Overeem's successful, he's got to let his hands go early. He's got to let the strikes fly. Not so much the kicks, though. If he does kick, Lesnar's going to shoot right in. Overeem's got to use his hands. He's got to use his hands. I think if he uses his feet, it will hurt Lesnar, but you cannot chop down Lesnar. Okay, he's going to come right after you if you leave one of those legs up in the air from a kick. Your hands have got to fly. You've got to keep Brock away with your hands. So that's if Overeem's successful. Let the strikes go. If Lesnar's successful, let's get Overeem on his back. How I see this fight panning out. The prediction. How I see this fight panning out, Overeem says this fight won't go out of the first round. Lesnar thinks he's going to do very well. I mean, he said on UFC on Fox that he's going to get his belt back and everything. We'll see. But my prediction in this fight, man, I'm not buying the hype of Overeem. But you know what? Lesnar can't take a hit. It's been a long layover for him. And if Overeem does come out and he lets the hands go, he will knock out or TKO Brock Lesnar in the first round. So my prediction is we're going to see a little bit. These guys are going to take their time like in heavyweight fights. They're going to come out for 30 seconds and take their time. They'll circle. They'll test their range. And I see Alistair Overeem catching Brock Lesnar. I see him jumping over Brock Lesnar. He's got to go after Lesnar. This is how I see it. He's got to rush after Lesnar. If he does catch him, just like Velasquez did, take some notes, get some strikes in, swarm all over Lesnar. And I think Alistair Overeem is going to win this fight first round, TKO, and he's going to end up fighting Junior Dos Santos in probably one of the greatest stand-up battles that we will ever see in the UFC. Junior Dos Santos versus Alistair Overeem. That's going to be one heck of a fight. And you know what? Where Brock Lesnar stands after this fight will be interesting. Who he faces, maybe the winner of Mir Nogueira, that could be a possibility. But who knows what Lesnar will do if he does not win. If he does win, he goes on to Dos Santos. But my prediction, UFC top contender for heavyweight division, Alistair Overeem, first round TKO. And Overeem goes on to fight Junior Dos Santos in a card that will be later in the year. A very highly anticipated fight, that's for sure. So that's what I have for this one. This is Kyle Delaney from the Couch Cageside signing off. Everybody have a great day.